In the last video, we ended with taking a look at the Maypole. And I'm just going to look at that real briefly unless the Lord leads me to get into it deeper. I'm just want to show you the basic origin of the Maypole. Right here. Okay. On this website, it says Maypoles and Mayhem. Let me get that in the screen here. Okay. It says the most well-known symbol of May Day, 1st May, is the Maypole. The custom of dancing around the Maypole is an ancient fertility rite, which is a ritual, which is still performed today on village greens and at spring. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Fetes. The origins of the Maypole hark back to ancient times when tree spirits were worshipped. So this is about worship other than God. It's about worshiping false gods and false idols. And I'll show you that a little bit deeper here in a few minutes, how it connects with May Day. And indeed, the first maypoles were tall, slender trees. Okay, I'm going to skip down to the next paragraph. And I think this is where we're going to leave this maypole thing. But it gives you a clearer connection, I think. The maypole itself is a phallic symbol representing the planting of the god's phallus into Mother Earth's womb, thereby illustrating the bringing forth of new life. Okay, bringing forth of new life. And what I want to say there, as you can see, this ties into fertility rituals. And it is well, I'll get back to that in just a minute. The thing I want to say here about this bringing forth of new life is that ties into a resurrection. You know, how the resurrection of Christ was about him being risen with new life for all, not just himself. Our resurrection, the resurrection we're waiting on for us to be transformed, to be taken from the corruptible to the incorruptible, is all about bringing forth new life. So I just wanted to point that out because this is like the parallel from one side to the other, okay? It says, in addition, some maypoles are painted with red and white spiral stripes in much the same way of a barber's pole, and this too has sexual meaning. The red representing the female menstrual blood and the white the male semen. The sexual symbolism of the maypole and all the immoral revelry that went along with it led the Puritans to outlaw the maypole custom in 1644. So you can see the origin of the maypole was one that goes back to ancient times and is linked to worshiping false gods. Okay, having said that about the false gods, I want to bring into the picture here where we see under the title of traditional May Day origins and celebrations, where we see mention of Festival of Flora. Okay, she was the Roman goddess of flowers. And we're going to click on that and see if we can't. Okay, it says in ancient Roman religion, the Floralia was a festival in honor of the goddess Flora, held April 27th during the Republic era, or April 28th on the Julian calendar. In Latin, the festival was known as, and I can't pronounce that, but it says the Games of Flora. Under the empire, the games lasted 6 days. So if it started on the 27th, that'd be 28th, 29th, 30th, 1, 2, 3. It'd go to May the 3rd. If it started on the 28th, it'd go to May the 4th. So, we're seeing a variation on different days that things are represented here, but it all is connected with May Day, okay? Let me see if there's anything else I want to mention about this. Yeah, let's read this right here. Flora is one of the most ancient goddesses of Roman religion and was one of 15 deities to have her own state-supported high priest. Okay? This is clearly about worshiping false gods and false idols. A goddess of flowers, vegetation, and fertility. She received sacrifices in the sacred groves. Okay? We learned sometime back on some of my videos I've done in the past that we learn in the Old Testament that these groves were all about it being a place for lack of a better way to put it, where they played out the rituals to these false gods. It was kind of like being in the shadows, the place of darkness where they could do what they pleased. They thought they were hiding things a lot of times when they were in the groves. Let's see. She received sacrifices in the sacred groves of the Arval brothers and Arcadic priesthood. Her altar of Rome was said to have been established by the Sabine king of Titus. Okay, that takes us, I think, back to, if I'm not mistaken, Titus and the Titus Arch. I can't remember just what it's called, which takes us back to this them replicating the Arch of Baal or Baal, however you pronounce it. So all this stuff is interconnected. Okay, I ran across something the other day, and I'm hoping I can find it again, that gives a clearer connection to this arch that we've seen in the news so much lately. But I was just trying to show you there the connection with the ancient gods and how this May Day is connected to the worship of false gods. Okay, as we continue on back at where we were reading about the traditional May Day origins and celebrations, let's pick back up. We discussed the Maypole and where it originated and what it is symbolic of. It's about the fertility and a lot of the rituals that went on there that were immoral and how it had been banned at one time. And then we saw how it connects to the worship of, Maypole was connected to, May Day was connected to the worship of that Roman goddess, Flora. And of course, they even made sacrifices to her in the groves, which, if you look in the Old Testament, do a little research, you'll understand the groves are all about worshiping false gods. The next thing I want to look at here, let me see. We talked about the Maypole. I'm not going to get into the Queen of May at the moment, but it says fading in popularity since late 20th century is the giving of, I want you to see this, May baskets. Okay, took that in the back of your mind as well. May baskets, summer, International Workers' Day, which is Labor Day. A lot of these things we're going to look at a little bit closer shortly. But Okay. The fading of the giving of the May baskets, which here it says small baskets of sweets or flowers, usually left anonymously on neighbors' doorsteps. I'm sorry, I can't have talk today. Um, the thing there that I want to point out, and it takes us to Amos. I'm not sure if I want to get it. I think I will. I think I will go ahead and get into some of that. Um, let's read a little bit of Amos, okay? Amos 8, verse 1. Thus hath the Lord God showed unto me, and behold, a basket. Remember, I said, hold on to that basket of summer fruits. And he said, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then said the Lord unto me, the end is come upon my people of Israel. I will not again pass by them any more. So what I want to point out here is here we see mention of baskets. Well, excuse me, basket of summer fruit. Okay, we saw mention of summer connected with May Day. We saw mention of baskets connected with May Day. The fruit, the summer fruit, the way that it's used here is talking about summer fruit perishes quickly, I think is the main thing to pull out of that. But I want us to take note of what's mentioned here and how several of the things mentioned here in Amos 8 connect us to May Day. Like I just said, we saw the May baskets, and we have reference to basket here. And summer fruit, we see reference to summer. Remember, May 1st was the first day of summer at one point, and of course it changed. I don't know why and all that. I'm not going to get into that, but we saw that back over here. Let me back up and show you. We saw, here. It says May 1st was the first day of summer. All right, so we saw that in Amos about the summer. So we have reference to summer. We have reference to baskets. Okay, right here. So, as we look at Amos, let's go back over to Amos. We see reference to baskets, which links us to May Day. We see reference to summer, which links us to May Day. Now, I know that said baskets with sweets or flowers, but when you stop and think about it, the sweets of ancient days was fruit. Okay? Now, as we read on, we see the basket of summer fruit mentioned again. Then we come down to Amos 8:3. Let me make sure I can get this in the screen for you. And it says, and the songs of the temple shall be howlings in that day, saith the Lord God. There shall be many dead bodies in every place. They shall cast them forth with silence. Now, I looked up howlings to see what it had to say in the Strongs about it. And this is what we have over here on the other computer. It says howling means wail. And wail means, excuse me. Let me go back a minute here. Getting ahead of myself just a little bit. Okay, here we go. This is where I looked up howling. It says to howl or make a howling. Let's see. Then we get down here a little bit further. It's where the word wail comes in, okay? Turn to wailing, wail, wailed, wailing, okay? So we see that it is a type of cry. And when we look up wail, we see that wailing means, right here, wail, to utter a prolonged, high-pitched cry as of grief or misery. Okay, I'm going to cut that off right here.